Welcome back everyone to the video, and today we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and how they could win their third straight Super Bowl this season. We're just going to jump right into it. I'm doing these basically all off season, briefly going over certain teams and talking about what to expect from them and certain players like rookies and especially rookie quarterbacks. But for the Chiefs, though, I feel like the expectations are very high since they have one of the best players in football with Patrick Mahomes. Very exciting rookies, a lot of things to talk about. Interesting mix of teams today. I'm a Panthers fan wearing a Patriots Cam Newton shirt talking about the Chiefs. So, interesting mix of teams, I just realized. Jumping into the depth chart, though, when you have Mahomes, a lot of these spots on the team, I'm going to say right now, you have a bit more of an expectation out of someone like a Justin Watson, per se. Like, that guy isn't the best player in the world, but he honestly tends to make pretty good plays. It's because Mahomes is the type of quarterback that can elevate so many guys around him. So right now we have Mahomes at quarterback, Pacheco for running back, Rashee Rice, Marquise Browning, Xavier Worthy for wide receivers, Travis Kelce for tight end. O-line is Wanya Morris, Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Jawan Taylor. Also, just one note, Kadarius Toney still back there as well, and Mecole Hardman for what it's worth too. Obviously, with the Chiefs, you can never count them out. It's just the way the team is, especially Patrick Mahomes specifically. Always able to come back into games. Even last season, they really didn't look super strong, and they ended up making a run at the Super Bowl and beating the 49ers, a very, very good team. So the expectations are definitely pretty high this year. And it's funny because last offseason, I made a video talking about how I thought the Chiefs could be really, really good, obviously. But I more specifically, I thought Mahomes might have like the best weapons in his entire career because at that time, like Justin Ross was showing out in training camp, and I was kind of high on Kadarius Toney. I thought Sky Moore would step up, and that didn't happen, but the Chiefs were still good, and they still won the Super Bowl. So, I don't know, kind of funny. Not the way I thought it would work out, but it had the same outcome, I guess. Right now, though, a big focus for me is obviously on Xavier Worthy, the rookie who we're going to talk about in a second a little bit more. But other than him, Rashee Rice, I think people expect some sort of, not sentence, but like repercussion, I guess, from his like car incident he had. And so I'm not sure what that suspension will look like. I don't think the NFL has really said anything, so maybe he doesn't get one. I don't know. I wouldn't think he would get more than like 6 weeks compared to how they do others, but sometimes it's just all over the place. There's really no way of knowing. So other than him, I think the Chiefs still have a very solid wide receiver core, and they have a lot of speed and a lot of playmakers, so it should be a very exciting offense. They'll do a lot of different things with it. Isaiah Pacheco, I think, is so underappreciated as well. As for Xavier Worthy, though, a lot of you probably know this guy did set the NFL Combine record with the fastest speed. Great athlete from Texas. I want to check out his RAS score real quick. Now, I've done these in the past for these videos. If you haven't seen them, the RAS score is the relative athletic score, which basically takes a player's height, weight, 40-yard dash time, 20-yard split, all that kind of stuff, and factor into one number from 1 to 10. And so scoring a 9.41 after not doing too well just for his height and weight being pretty undersized, that is honestly incredible. There is no question about his speed and explosiveness. 4-yard dash time, 4.21, absolutely unreal. 20-yard split, 2.42. I mean, his lowest score on those, on the RS score, was a 9.98 out of 10. That is absolutely wild. So, again, I don't use these to completely judge the prospect. I like to highlight it because I do think it's interesting, and I do think it's somewhat relevant to how they might transition to the NFL. But again, not saying this is going to make him automatically good or bad. But I will say, that really brings into perspective just how athletic this guy is. And so for me, it's like we've seen the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill and how amazing that was. But then it's like, we've seen NFL prospects be that fast and then also be like a John Ross, who was very, very fast, went to the Bengals, didn't really do a whole lot. I think he just retired and unretired. Not sure where he is right now. But again, so we've seen it work out really well and then not as well. But when you're in a situation like in Kansas City with Mahomes, your quarterback, very good offensive scheme. I mean, they can dial up a whole lot. So I honestly have pretty high expectations for Xavier Worthy. And then even still, you have Marquise Brown. This is a very, very fast offense. And I think the Chiefs are probably going to be, shockingly, a very tough offense to stop this year. But another thing that actually makes me think the Chiefs could make not only a huge run at the Super Bowl, because, look, just to be clear, they can do it because just Mahomes and how good this team is. We all kind of know that. I'm kind of just trying to look other than that, reason. But again, one more thing for that is the schedule. Like for their seeding, they could get a really good seed because they're in a division where the Chargers and the Raiders and the Broncos, all those teams are really just trying to basically pin down their quarterback, apart from the Chargers. But a lot of them are just trying to pin down their quarterback, being the Broncos and the Raiders, and then the Chargers are trying to rebuild everything but their quarterback. So those teams are really in a situation where yeah, they want to win, but you're not totally win first. You have some things to figure out. But the Chiefs are levels and levels ahead of that. So I really think they are a heavy favorite in this division. And so you look at their schedule, and it's like, apart from those division games, you have to play the AFC North, which is pretty tough. You have the Bengals, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Steelers. But then after that, like the Panthers, you play Tampa Bay, you play the Saints, you play the Falcons. Like, the Falcons should be pretty decent, but those out of divisional games are really not that difficult apart from the 49ers and the Texans. So the Chiefs can not only land a very high seed just in their own division, which will probably be number one, but in the AFC, they can make a real shot at the one seed because in my mind, yeah, you might split with like Denver or maybe, the Raiders. I think you probably sweep the Chargers. And then after that, like you probably beat Carolina, you probably beat the Saints, you probably beat Tampa Bay, you probably honestly beat the Falcons, even if they're pretty good too. So a lot of it's going to rely on just the way the AFC shakes out because it's just so competitive with teams like them and the Ravens, the Bengals and the Texans are now much better. So it'll be a very tough conference, but I think schedule-wise, the Chiefs, like, they're in a pretty good spot right now, especially factoring in their division. And then I had to come back and highlight this defense because I think the focus of this team is always just, Mahomes because he's the best quarterback in the league and super exciting. But this defense really helped them out big time last year. And I've seen some people comment on even my videos that, like, this defense, I wouldn't say carried, but I've seen comments say that, like, they kind of... they wouldn't have won it without them, and I kind of understand that same sentiment because this defense was honestly amazing last year. You had guys like Chris Jones, obviously, doing his thing, and you have, well, at least at the time, you had L'Jarius Sneed, who was very good last year. Trent McDuffie had a great season last year. You have Justin Reed, you had Drew Tranquil, you had George Karlaftis. Like, you had a lot of guys on defense stepping up and just getting a lot of stops down the stretch, and the offense tended to struggle because Mahomes' weapons kind of let them down time after time. So the fact they won the Super Bowl last year, in my opinion, with a pretty much, I would say, worse roster. I wouldn't say it's a whole lot worse, but I would say the roster this year is a little bit improved, although I will say you lose Sneed this year, but at the same time, you have better weapons on offense. So you lose some, but you also gain some. Regardless, though, this defense is amazing. I don't think it's going to regress at all. I think it's probably a top 10 defense in the NFL right now. I'm excited to see what they do this year, but again, looking at the schedule, the AFC as a whole, you have a well-rounded defense like this. You still have Mahomes on offense. Like, if those weapons can really come together, even if it's not Xavier Worthy, even if Marquise Brown just, gets like 800 yards, Rashee Rice does his thing like last year. I mean, in my opinion, this is a better receiving core than last year. You still have Travis Kelce, of course, too, which, like, for what it's worth, I don't think he was as great as he normally is last season, but come playoff time, he did his thing, and there's no doubt that, it's one of the best connections in the NFL with Mahomes and Kelce. So my thoughts on the Chiefs this year, I think they can honestly make a serious run at the Super Bowl and three-peat because last year, I wasn't really feeling it. I thought Mahomes, while having great weapons, there's a lot of other teams in the AFC that I thought would be really, really good, like the Bengals, and then, Burrow got hurt. I thought the Ravens would be really good, and they were really good. I didn't see the Texans being very good. So, again, a lot of teams are stepping up. I think it's going to be a very competitive 2024 season. But the Chiefs, I think, schedule-wise and team-wise, are in a really good spot to where they can definitely win their third Super Bowl in a row this year. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate that. On the road to 1,000 subscribers, I believe we're 14, I think, from 700, so we're definitely getting there. I appreciate all the support there. Comment down below any teams you guys want to see me do like a video like this. I've already done a lot of them, so go check them out if you haven't seen them. I'm also going to be doing the division predictions still and predicting every single team's season, division by division. Next is the AFC North, and that should be out in a couple days, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.